Okay, I want to start this off with a review problem. Find the product of x minus 6 times x minus 2. Stroll down memory lane. So it's P1, P2. Just multiply it out. Okay, so we know how to do this. We distribute 1x to 1x, 1x to negative 2. Then negative 6 to the same two things. Okay, so 1 times 1 is 1, x times x is x to the second. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2 with x, and then negative 6 times 1 is negative 6 with x, and negative 6 times negative 2 is 12. Now slot them. So x to the second, and then x, then constant. So x seconds 1. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8, and then 12. Okay, now here's what we're doing. This is known as a trinomial because you ended up with 3 different terms. Okay, now what we're doing today with the trinomials is getting it back to the P1, P2. The directions for that are known as factoring. Okay, you're putting it into the P1, P2. Okay, now I'm going to change something just a little bit. Okay. Instead of P1, P2, I'm going to put F1, F2 for factors, okay? Now, the first thing you do is you underline your terms, okay? GCF, we're actually not going to do the GCF on any of these problems today, and I'm going to explain why, because here's the situation. You don't have a letter, you don't have a negative, and 1, 11, 18, those all three, 1, 11, 18. Well, that's just in the first row. Doing a GCF of 1 is stupid. It doesn't affect the problem, so don't do it. And that's going to be the same thing. You're going to get GCFs of 1. Okay. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up my parentheses, and instead of P1, P2, I'm going to start calling it F1 and F2. Factor 1, factor 2. It's the same concept, though. Now, we need to find 3 things. We need to find what goes here, what goes here. That's first. Then the signs that go in here, which are very important. Then what goes here and what goes here. Okay. First thing we're going to do is figure out what signs go in here, but I'm not going to put them in right away. I would say you make a chart and you label these terms A, B, C every time. Now, you're going to put a number on top of the chart. It's found by taking your A times your C, just the numbers. 1 times 18 is 18. It's positive 18. Now, having a positive is very important. That tells me that these signs we're going to put here match. So the signs match. So you're going to write that. And then right underneath it, write add equals. They have to add to positive 11. Okay? The B term is what they add to. We have to find 2 factors of positive 18 that add to positive 11. Now, first thing we're going to do is put signs on this table. The signs match. That means they'll either both be positive or both be negative. But since we have to add to a positive, they're both going to be positive. Okay? If we were adding to a negative, they'd be negative, negative. Now, I got to find the numbers. So I know we're going to put a plus and a plus. Don't put that yet. Okay, so I got the signs identified. Now, I'm going to find what goes here and what goes here. I have to find 2 factors of 18 that add to positive 11. So put a little division sign next to your 18. You start dividing 18 by integers, so by 1. 1 and 18, so I put the number I divided by and the answer I got. Does that add to positive 11? No, it adds to positive 19, so out. Now set up the signs again. Those are set in stone. Now 2. Put 2 and put 9. Do those add to positive 11? Yes. So you know you have plus 2 and plus 9. Now the rest of the story is easy to fill out. This and this, you look at your A term, because this times this has to multiply to 1x to the second. Well, the only way 2 numbers multiply to 1 is if you're taking 1 times 1. And the only way 2 variables multiply to x to the second is if you're taking x times x. Now, we're going to prove why that's correct. You don't have to do this, okay? You do not have to do this. That's the end of the problem. So now if I take 1x to 1x and 1x to 9, then 2 to 1x and 2 to 9, it's going to be 1x second. It's going to be 9x and 2x and 18. So slot them. This should equal out to the original problem. 1, 9 plus 2 is 11, and then 18. So there's my original, there's my product, it's good, okay? One thing I'd like you to do, if you end up with 1s in front of your x's, drop them. Just put x plus 2, x plus 9. Put the 1s there, but then immediately drop them or scribble them out. Okay, I want to change the next problem. I want to change that to a negative 3x. Okay, so it's a trinomial again. GCF is going to be 1. Okay, now set up your parentheses. F1, F2. Okay, why is it? I want it F1, F2. Okay, now make a table and go A, B, C. So take your 1 times your 2. 1 times 2 is positive 2, so we end up with a positive again. So the positive, right away when I see that's positive, I write signs match. And then after that, you want to write add to negative 3. So the signs match again, but this time they'd have to both be negative, okay? Because they have to add to a negative. They'll still multiply to a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive, but you got to add them to a negative. So now, start dividing into your 2. Shouldn't take too long. 2 is a pretty small number. 1 and 2. Now add those. Does that add to negative 3, either mentally or on a calculator? Yes, it does. Boom. Minus 1, minus 2. That's the big battle. Now, this times this is my A. The only way that happens is if you have 1, 1, and then x to the second, it'd be x. Delete your, if you have 1s in front of x, it's supposed to be just x minus 1 times x minus 2. Okay, next one, a to the second power plus 7a plus 10, okay? Trinomial GCF's 1, I'm just telling you, you're going to see me put that on every problem. Now I go make my parentheses, okay? F1, F2, because now these are called factors. We're not calling them polynomials anymore. Okay, so A, B, C, even though A is a letter, it doesn't matter. Then you make a table. 1 times 10 is 10, positive. And on this packet, A times C is always going to be a positive, which means the signs match. And they have to add equals positive 7. Okay? So if the signs have to match, that means both positive or both negative in here. But I put them on my table first. Add to a positive, well that's positive, positive. Now I start dividing into 10. So 10 divided by 1 is 10, so I put 1, 10. That doesn't add to 7, Holmes, okay? Write the signs before you write the numbers. 2 and 5, so I put the number I divided by and the number I came up with. What's 2 plus 5? 7, boom. So we got plus 2, plus 5, okay? Now, that times that should equal C. This times this should equal A, okay? So 1 could only be one possibility, 1 times 1. A to the second is only A times A. So we have 1A plus 2 times 1A plus 5. I'd really appreciate if you delete the 1s off your letters. Those don't need to be there. A plus 2 times A plus 5. Okay, next problem, t to the second plus 9t plus 14. Okay, so another trinomial. GCF and that trinomial is 1. Okay, because you don't have a letter, you don't have a negative. 1, 9, and 14. If 1's one of the numbers, the only row on a multiplication chart that is 1. Okay, so F1, F2. Okay, so A, B, C. So I take 1 times 14, that's 14, positive, okay? Okay, so positive 14. So that tells me that the signs match. and they have to add to positive 9. So again, they have to add to a positive, so they'd be positive, positive. Okay, if it's a negative 9 in the middle, it'd be negative, negative. Okay, but signs match, meaning they're the same thing. This tells you how they match. Positive, positive, negative, negative. So start dividing. 1, 14, 15. Nope. Divide by 2. Okay. 2 and 7. Number you divided by, answer you got 2, 7. Okay, so that's it. Positive 2, positive 7 add up to positive 9. So plus 2, plus 7. Okay, so 1t to the second. Well, that could only be 1, 1, and t, t. Drop the 1s, okay? So it's t plus 2 times t plus 7. Okay, now this also requires patience. We're not solving these. Just get the equals 0 out of there. I don't want that. I just want it factored. So we have y to the second plus 17y plus 72. Okay, put that into factored. Again, it's 3 terms. Okay, so F1, F2. Okay, all right, so the table. A, B, C. 1 times 72 is 72. Now again, it's positive. So you write signs match, and they have to the factors have to add to positive 17. You should be positive. You should be writing signs match and then adding positive 17. They always add up to the middle, okay? The middle term. So if they match and I have positive 17, they'd have to be positive, positive. Now remember what I said, this requires some patience at times, okay? So I start dividing. 72 divided by 1 is 72, so you put 172, there's no way that adds up to 17. Now divide by 2. 236. That's 38, okay, doesn't work. Now try 3. 3 and 24, the number you divided by, the answer you got. That adds to 27, so we got to get 17, so I'm not there yet. After 3 comes 4. 4, 18. 4 plus 18 is 22. Nope. Now, an interesting thing comes up next. If you divide and get a decimal, skip it. Don't even put it on your table. After 5 comes 6, so 6 and 12. 6 plus 12 is 18, but I got to get to 17. Close doesn't cut it here. So after 6 goes 7. Decimal, skip it. Okay, 8, 9. I think 8 plus 9 is 17, dude. Okay, got it. Got it. So you got plus 8 and plus 9. Took a little while, but we got it. Now this 1 at y to the second, that could be 1, 1, and then y to the second, it'd just be y, y. There's your answer. Drop the 1s off. Okay. There you go. Y plus 8 times y plus 9. Okay, next one. W to the second minus 13w plus 42. Okay, so 1w second, 13w, 42. GCF's 1, so I don't even bother to do it because we have that same situation every time. Okay, all right, so make your F1, F2. Okay, A, B, C. So 1 times 42 is 42, positive, okay? Positive 42, so again the signs match. I'm going to be writing that every time A times C equals a positive. Now, write what you need to add to. This time you got to add to negative 13, so all the signs match, they just need to match up as negative, okay? So start dividing now. So 42 divided by 1 is 42. That does not add to negative 13. I mean, you can check, but obviously not. Negative, negative. So now divide by 2. 2, 21. That does not add to negative 13. Negative, negative. Nope, 3 and 14. Write it down. But negative 3 plus negative 14 is not that. Okay. Now I run into some 4 is a decimal, so skip it. 5 is a decimal, skip it. 6, okay, 6 and 7. So you write the number, and lo and behold, that's a 7 there, sorry. Okay, that's a 7. Negative 6 plus negative 7 is negative 13. Boom, got it. So minus 6, minus 7. That's the hard work. Now, circle your A term. 1 can only be 1, 1. W to the second's W, W. Okay? Get your 1s out of there. Okay? If you have a 1 in front of the variable, if you have a 1 here, you keep it, but the ones in front of the variables you need to get rid of. W minus 7 times 6 times W minus 7. Okay, next one. I want to make that 11 a negative just so I get a balance of problems. 1x second, 11x 24. So it's a trinomial. Trinomial, you look at the GCF, but it's just 1. Then we make it into an F1, F2. So make your table. 1 times 24 is 24. Positive. Okay? Okay, so again, the signs match. And then after you write that, you need to write what they add to. Add equals negative 11. Okay? So they match as negatives. Negative, negative. The signs in here will match as negatives. Now, find 2 factors that add to negative 11. 1 and 24. No, that's negative 25. Now divide 24 by 2, you get 212. Add those, that's close, but it's not quite right. See, I need negative 11. 24 divided by 3 is 8, so 3 and 8. If you add those, boom, negative 11. Okay. So negative 3, negative 8, and then you fill the rest of it in with whatever your A is. But A 1. Well, what times what is 1? Well, it's only 1 1. I know that. What times what's x to the second? Well, it's just x times x. Okay. Delete those 1s. Okay, last 2. X to the second minus 4x plus 3. Another trinomial, GCF, and that's going to be 1. So then I make my parentheses, and I'm finding what goes inside of here with the T chart. Okay. A, B, C. So you take your A times your C. 1 times 3 is 3. Positive 3. Okay. So again, signs match, and we add to negative 4. So they match, they have to add as a negative times a negative to add to another negative. So 3 is a pretty small number. This shouldn't take long. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. So 1, 3. Do those add to negative 4? Yup. Put minus 1, minus 3. Then examine your A term, 1, that's just 1, 1. And then x to the second would be x, x. So it ends up as x minus 1 times x minus 3. As long as the x has a 1 in front of it, it could be just x. Okay, then we have t to the second power minus 8t plus 12. Okay, so trinomial. GCF is going to be 1 because you don't have a letter, you don't have a negative. 1, 8, and 12 would just appear in the first row in a multiplication table. Okay, so A, B, C. So 1 times 12 is 12. Positive again, okay? So the signs match. And since we have to add to negative 8 this time, they match, but it'd be negative, negative. Okay, 12 divided by 1 is 12. Put the number you divided by, the answer you got. So negative 1 plus negative 12 is not negative 8. Okay. Divide by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I put the number I divide by the number I got. Now add those. And what do you know? It's negative 8. Minus 2 minus 6. Now 1t to the second, you go 1, 1, and then t to the second is t times t. Okay. Okay, and then you take the 1s off the front of your variables. Okay, you got 4 problems on the assignment. This one's going to take you a little bit. These are s's, they're not 5s. S to the second minus 10s plus 16. These should go fairly quickly. Okay. So you don't have to check your answer with the 4. If you're confident you know what you're doing, I don't need